You know, people should talk to the people they disagree with and have a conversation to sort out their differences, rather than blocking them and taking away their platform of free speech, taking away their voice, taking away the places where they're able to express themselves and talk. We've seen a lot of people being taken down from Twitter recently and from other places. We've had free speech events being shut down, like the Red Pill screenings by Cassie J. We've had Sargon being taken down from Twitter. We've had Kraut and Tea being taken down from Twitter. And recently I've just seen Harmful Opinions being taken down off YouTube. I don't know what's happening, but there seem to be a lot of people around on the other political side from us who want to shut down our free speech and our ability to talk about our ideas and our discontent with the way things are going. And all mostly because we're on the anti-SJW, skeptic, centrist side of things politically. And the far left at the moment just really wants to shut us up. They want to shut everyone up who disagrees with them. They want to brand them racist, they want to brand them sexist, they want to brand us Nazis, none of which are true. They wanted to stop Milo's book being published because they say he's a white supremacist who hates immigrants and hates gays and is a Nazi, despite the fact that he's Jewish, gay, an immigrant in America, dates black people. One of the big reasons I dislike the regressive left, the SJWs, the feminists, the third wave, is because they can't stand free speech. They can't stand to hear other people talk if they disagree with their opinions. They want to keep them quiet. They want to slap a bit of tape over your mouth and make sure you don't talk. It's ridiculous. We should all be talking together and we should all be disagreeing and we should all be happy with that. Sometimes we're happy when we agree, but we should be equally happy with each other after we've disagreed. I don't like any of these new definitions that the far left is trying to mould and shape free speech into. Free speech is non-negotiable. Free speech should be you're allowed to say anything you want, anything at all that comes to your mind, and you shouldn't have to be punched in the face or imprisoned or attacked. And it sets a precedent for other people, you know, especially when the left are taking words and moulding their meanings into something that they're not, like sexist and racist and white supremacist and Nazi. These words don't have any meanings anymore because you've used them for people who aren't those things. You just think they are those things, so you brand them, and then you say it's okay to commit violence on people who have been labelled as a Nazi. So people who are not Nazis will get punched. People who are not sexist will get punched. And further down the line, you're going to say it's killing that's okay? Because, I mean, you're screwing up this world if you're going to make all this acceptable. Imprison people, punch them, kill them, just because they've said something that is different to what you like. It's not right. You should let these people talk. You should hear them. You can disagree with them. You can disagree with them and still be friends with them. It doesn't matter. The worst thing you can do is make legislation for shutting people up. If you've got power in courts or if you've got powers in schools, you teach kids these opinions and things en masse and don't let them decide for themselves. Or if you make laws to do with these opinions that you've got. That's not cool. That's not acceptable. But it is acceptable to hear them, and it should be acceptable to hear them. It doesn't matter what they say. And I don't agree that words are violence. Of course they're not violence. Violence should be physical. Words, taking offence at things, taking offence at words, being trigger words, is a choice that you can choose not to do. You just have to stop reacting so emotionally to when someone says something to you. Because these days, so many people will say things that you don't like. And you can't just create this rule to block every single one of them, to go further and take away every single one of them's platform for free speech, to attack them, to assault them, and for it to be okay in the eyes of the law for you to assault them, or, to do worse than that. Many of these people don't actually listen to the things they're shutting down, they just have this gut reaction to it. And I know you can have this instantaneous emotional reaction to seeing some words, especially directed at you. But you have to try and find a way to control that emotion, especially anger, especially fear. When someone posts something to you, you have to look at it, and if it's a post that's angry or insulting to you or something, you still have to find a way to ignore it and find the best part of yourself to respond to that with if you're going to respond, and be the calm one in the situation. Don't shout, don't get angry, don't rage, don't block, don't quit, don't, kick, ban. That's not the way people should do things. I mean, we're not gonna have a society full of people that can get on with each other and not hate each other. It's like that do unto others as you would want done to yourself sort of thing. Yeah, there are bad people in the world, there are people who want to be jerks to you and things, but they should not, just like you should not, be allowed to attack each other, or kill each other, or anything like that, or take away the freedom of each other, just for things you say or feelings you've held. I don't know, I feel like people have got into such a hive mind that they don't understand why they're angry with people, or why they're disagreeing with each other, or who's lying to them these days. And that's what kind of skepticism and such is built to combat. Why do you feel angry about what someone said? Break it down, have some humility. I loved that conversation with Glenn Beck on the Rubin Report. I never knew who he was before that interview, but if that's anything to go by, he seemed like a very wise person. He said, when you're dealing with people, we haven't had humility in a while. We've lacked something very important to me, which is the humility to say, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm not the one with the correct answer. My opinions are opinions, they're not facts. They can never be facts. Anything anyone says is an opinion, not a fact. Nobody actually has all the answers. No one person holds in their head the truth. Everything is a lot more nuanced than that, and people should have the humility, as Glenn Beck said, just to say, I don't know. I don't have the truth. What I'm saying might be wrong. And to be able to self-analyse, that's extremely important as well. Just look into yourself and say, am I wrong? I think I might be wrong. I think maybe I'm not right about some things. I think most people who think they're right about everything are the ones to avoid in life. No one human can know what's right. No one human can be perfectly moral. The hardest people to work with are the ones that think they are divine and infallible and 100% right, and will try and, they'll try and tell you things as if they know exactly how it's done. And no, they don't. For the most part, it's just their opinion of how something should go. They shouldn't hold it up as truth. We need more people who have the ability to self-analyse and to be self-conscious. I use that phrase differently from how people normally use it, I suppose. People normally say if you're self-conscious, you're looking inward and you're kind of worried about your self-worth. You're always checking yourself in the mirror because you're worried about what people are thinking about you. I think we need to be self-conscious in a way where we're conscious of what we're doing, conscious of what we're saying, conscious that it might be wrong any moment of any day. You need to realise that when it involves other people, you might be fucking up. You might be saying the wrong thing. Never say any definites to people. Never say that what you're saying is the truth. A good person will say that they're not sure about something. A bad person will say that they're definitely sure about something. Another thing that the SJWs do that I really am against is the loudest person in the room syndrome. Loudest person in the room wins the debate, or at least in their head they think that's what's going on. You often get these people who, upon being given a microphone, still proceed to shout into it. And some people just talk so loud and so fast, and with such self-righteousness, you know, that not only can you not get a word in edgeways to reply or counter to each individual point that they're making, or tell them that you disagree, they think they're the loudest there, which makes them the most important. You know, you're having, if you're trying to have a civil discussion with something, last thing you need is a shouting argument or the odd bit of snark thrown in. If you watch that horrible live stream where Professor Philip Moriarty engaged Bearing in a live stream discussion, that was I got so angry with that thing. I was going to make a response video to it because I was just so infuriating at the way Moriarty was like steering the conversation and interrupting at every possible moment, skipping over points, completely ignoring what Bearing had to say, getting out his little notepad and going, oh, okay, yeah, that's interesting you say that. Shh. He definitely loves the ideology of loudest person in the room wins the debate, because he won't let you talk. He won't let you even begin to make your argument before he shuts the conversation down and steers it onto another subject. You know, he likes to have full control of the conversation like it's a car that he's driving. And, you know, he's going to take you somewhere. You can't decide where it goes. And he's going to tell you when the car stops and the conversation stops and changes subject. That's a stupid way of debating. And he was tone policing Bearing, saying, don't swear, that's really rude. And, you know, he doesn't understand that swearing can be used jovially or casually, and that it should not be something you get triggered at or offended at, or some free speech that you shut down. You've got to be calm and hear people out. Take turns talking. I don't know where the old style moderators of discussions went, but I remember people who used to have discussions like there's one person on one side, one person on the other side, and there's a moderator, and the only real job of the moderator is to say, it's your turn to speak now, don't interrupt. Now it's your turn to speak, don't interrupt. That's officially that should be the only point of a moderator. If a moderator tries to join in the conversation or the debate between the two people, then he's strayed into territory of not being a moderator. That's a way of talking that has been lost, I think, is taking turns to talk. We really need more of those kind of conversations. And then, you know, you take turns for a while and then you have a kind of debate period at the end where you don't take turns. It's structured and everyone stays on topic and they don't get overly heated and psychotic with interrupting. I suppose the original point of the videos was you can't just keep doing this. I want to see more sites with a policy of pure free speech and who understand that you should not be putting tape over people's mouths. You should not be shutting them up. You should not be violent or want to kill them because they've said some words. You should control your reaction to what people say, and you should let in things that you're shocked by. You will become desensitized to it, but that simply means that you'll lose your emotional response to things. And don't listen to people who say that's a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing. I used to be really nervous when I was younger. I was probably a lot more like an SJW in a lot of ways because I was very easily kind of offended and very shocked when people told me things, and even if someone said something quite mild, I'd be like really, I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about it. I'd be kind of like fearful of it, and the adrenaline in me, because I was quite skinny, would rise up. Now for some reason I've got a lot less adrenaline, and that results in a faster heartbeat when you've got high adrenaline, and that is hard to control. I know it's a biological response to fear and being triggered, as you say, but you can control that. And one of the best pieces of advice I got was from a guy called Jim, whose online handle was Assimilator, and he went on the Beyond Unreal forums in the Unreal community, and he was a script writer part-time as well. We were on LiveJournal, we used to talk about film scripts and things, and he gave me a piece of advice once, which was, when I'd responded badly to a forum post, he said, you're kind of letting your emotions drive you. You know, if you just let go and not let your emotions rule you so much in response to things, you know, don't react emotionally to things, then you'll be fine. And he was basically right. If you ignore the feeling of shock within you when you see someone say something to you that you don't agree with, then you'll have a lot better time looking objectively at what they said to you and thinking, no, I could ignore this guy, or if I respond to him, I'll actually have something to say when I respond to him or her that will actually be a worthwhile response to them, to argue my point, to tell them why I think that what they're saying is not a good idea. And that's the way you should be, really, is calm, objective. I'm sure you want to call us emotionless robots or something. That's not true. I still react to things, and I indulge in emotions, but I can control when I do it. That's the important thing, I think. I can control more when I want to let myself feel the sadness or feel the anger, feel happy. Not so much scared, but I feel scared by less things. It also helps that I'm not very spiritualistic or religious. That's a reason why I'm scared by less things. Like, I can go out in the dark and walk around at midnight and not think that there's like a ghost or something out to get me. The thing I fear the most is things that physically would affect me, like if I was going to be punched by someone on the street, or if I was going to be killed in a certain place, or if I was in a position where I knew someone was going to take my freedom away because they thought I was doing something wrong when I wasn't. Those are places where I actually do feel scared these days. I've adapted it so that my fear is for rational things that will actually endanger me in some way. And I think you should too. I think if you're scared or shocked by something that, if you think about it, really won't have an effect on you at all, then you should reconsider what that thing is. And as I say, find it in you to find that humility in you to see where you're wrong about yourself. Like I say to myself, am I wrong about this situation? You know, maybe this situation isn't as bad as I thought it was. You kind of weigh it up and decide. I think we really do need to admit where we're wrong. Like, we need to look to our own ass. Look to your own ass first and think, you know, maybe it is me that is the wrong one in this situation, and maybe I could change in such a way that I wouldn't be wrong, or at least I'd be more calm and accepting and understanding with people or with the situation I'm in. Oh, and I forgot to say, that's basically the opposite of virtue signalling, is when you're kind of, should we call it fallibility signalling? You can signal that you're fallible, that you're human, that you might be wrong. And we need more of that, rather than people going, oh, I'm good, I'm great, I'm righteous, I'm doing the right thing. We need people saying more often when they think they might be doing the wrong thing, and more people on the other side of that person who are not blaming them for doing so, or saying, yes, you are wrong, you're completely wrong, we must stop you. So it's the opposite of virtue signalling, basically. Fallibility signalling.